So a few weeks back I was looking at this PSLX300 turntable that would not play, and the fellow that owns it, well, he has another needle for it, or stylus. So let's see whether this is the correct one for this unit. We'll just take this old one off. And we'll pop this other one back, this new one. This says made in China on it. We'll pop this one on. Let's see whether this one works any better than the one that was obviously no bloody good. We'll see if this one works. And if so, I'll try to re-glue the cartridge back into the housing because it's falling off. So we'll just pop the stylus in here, see if it'll go in. And hook it up and see if it plays. I'll use his old record. And this being a fully automatic, let's just see whether it'll play. Holy smoke! I don't hear anything out of the right channel, but it's certainly sounding better than it did before. Switch on the back. This has got line out and magnetic output. Let's get the switches. Okay, here's the weird thing. If I just ever so slightly, oops, is that all distorted? Almost like the wire's broken. Either that or it's pushing too hard. Like the weight. I wonder if one of the wires is broken in here in the head shell. So if I just ever so slightly lift the needle, the right channel starts working. The left channel always works, right? Here's both channels. I don't know if there's a weight adjustment on this or not. Weird. It almost is like it's too heavy. Just put just the slightest bit, just the slightest bit of pressure on the back, which just reduce. I mean, this is extremely heavy. It feels like it's a lot heavier than it should be. Well, I figured out what the three adjustments on the bottom one. One is the lead in where it drops. The other is the pickup, and the third one is the switch adjustment so that it stops when you move the arm back. There does not appear to be any weight adjustments whatsoever on this unit, and this looks to be way too heavy. As when I put the needle down, it really like it almost completely compresses the needle all the way down, and there's no sound, and it's almost dragging it on the record. It is so heavy. Raise it up a bit and it plays fine, So I think it's pushing down so far that the magnets are actually not even making, or are almost making contact. It's pushing the cantilever up. It's way too heavy. And yet I don't see any way to adjust this. It's preset at the factory, and I don't see any adjustments on here. Unless there was supposed to be a weight. This has got something sticky on it here, like there was almost like a counterweight or something that was stuck on the back. Maybe that's how they counterweight these things, is they have a little bar of metal or something that they stick on the back to add some counterweight. Let's just try a little experiment here, just for shits and giggles. What have I got that I can put on there to raise this up a bit? Just from the look of, like you can see, it looks like there was something stuck on there, and this is all sticky. I think there's a counterweight. Whoops. I think there's a counterweight that goes on the back there that weighs this thing down to adjust the weight of the tone arm. There's certainly not any way to adjust it, but I think there was probably a counterweight stuck on there at the factory, and it's missing. That's what I think is wrong with this. See if I can figure out something I can put on there and just weigh it back a bit and see if I can get this thing to play properly. Watch this. Just take just a battery. That's enough to add enough of a counterweight that both channels work. Remove it. That's not quite heavy enough. Remove it. You see? So the more I look at this, the more I realize what the fault is. You can see where there was a weight that was glued on there, and it's missing. And that's how they set the weight on this. They had a little counterweight on the back that they would balance and glue it down, and that would set the counterweight of the tone arm. Right now it's too heavy, and it's pushing the cantilever up. And when the cantilever gets pushed up, this is the dead needle, but when the cantilever gets pushed up, it pushes the little magnets on the back here. When that gets pushed up, it pushes the little magnets out of the way. Right there, you see? And it's pushing them right into the pickup and killing the sound on one channel. Alright, so what I did is I just used a little bit of double-sided tape, a couple little weights. These are actually little chokes that would be put around a speaker cable or something, or usually speaker cables or audio cables, to stop radio interference. They were the little snap-on toroidal chokes, or they weren't toroidals, they were just a box type choke that you would snap on. That's the ferrite that came out of it, one of these little units here. This adds just a little bit of weight to the back of the tone arm, so it doesn't have quite as much weight on the needle. And we now have stereo playing on both speakers. So I think that's what happened on this. Is the fellow that brought me this, I think he picked it up used somewhere or got it somewhere, and I think that counterweight has fallen off, because you can see where it had been stuck before, and the counterweight fell off. And that's what they did at the factory on these units, was they preset them at the factory. There's a spring in there, and then they put a little counterweight on to do the fine adjustment, and it fell off. So he probably doesn't have the original one, but this might get him going. Sounding good now. Oh. Well, we can't have that. It looks like the anti-skating is sticking. This record does not skip. This record is in good shape. And it's not worn out or anything, so yeah, I'm going to say it tended to catch on a groove there. It must be the tone arm itself. It just, I'm not going to play this record. I don't want to damage it. I played the other record okay for a bit. Anyway, Even with the add-on weight that I added, which got the other channel back, it tends to stick. See, now it's playing okay. But it did not want to play this one without sticking. I don't believe there's a problem with this record. Try side 2. Yeah, you see, it's sticking. So I think that that's all I'm going to do on this. I'm not going to go any further on this turntable because it's not worth fixing. The bearing is probably also shot. I mean, I'm assuming that that's the correct stylus for it, but I don't know. It was supplied to me. But one thing for sure, it's heavy as hell. It looks like there was a weight stuck on there because you could see the residue from like a double-sided tape that was on there. And I just stuck a bit of a weight on here and it certainly clears it up, but it's still catching on a groove. So somewhere in the lateral movement here, it's catching. Could be the bearing that's bad. Anyway, I'm going to walk away from this one now. It's just kind of the guy that owns it. I looked at it a month or so ago, a couple weeks back. And he came out with the replacement stylus. He thought maybe he had got them mixed up. Well, this one here doesn't play at all. This one plays, but it's way too heavy. As soon as you put it onto the record, it almost goes all the way down to the point where the base of the cartridge is dragging on the record. I'm going to leave it at that. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you in the next one. Bye.